Hi guys, little project, copper sulfate powder, magnesium strip, deionized water. What we're going to do is see if we can copper plate the magnesium strip and then see if we can solder it, because we can't solder directly onto magnesium. So I had an idea. I thought we'd try and copper plate it. So we're going to put some water in here. I've got my gloves on because it does warn you. Harmful if swallowed, causes eye, skin and respiratory tract irritation, may cause liver and kidney damage. Do not get in eyes, on skin or on clothing. Do not breathe vapor or mist. Wear goggles or face shield, protective gloves and protective clothing when handling. Wash thoroughly after handling or contact, as exposure can cause burns which are not immediately painful or visible. So what we're going to do, so say, I'm going to open a corner of that, tip a little bit in there, put some water in it, mix it up, then put a copper electrode in on one side, and we'll actually use the magnesium as the other electrode. Normally I use that to make a battery, but we're actually going to be putting power into it to make the copper come out of solution and attach to the magnesium. That's my theory. So I'll just open a corner of this so we can seal it back up again. Okay, I will seal that. And we'll add some water. I don't know whether I've made a strong enough solution, but I literally only need the thinnest coating on there to do what I want to do. I'm just cleaning off the copper contact that I'm going to use. That's as clean as it's going to get for now. And the magnesium you'll see is dark anywhere where it's oxidized. So I'll clean that up a bit on the sandpaper as well. And then we got some shiny bits on there. So I'm planning to just bend that over. It's already bubbling. So it's having a chemical reaction already, which I don't really want. Got a 9-volt battery here. Which way round does it go? Positive, I think, goes to the copper. That'll be the positive. That one to the negative. There's lots of bubbles, which I don't really want. Let's just move the camera. Yeah, hopefully you can see the bubbles are coming up around the edge. But it was doing that before I put the power on it. Let's have a look after a few seconds and see what's happening. It's dark. I don't know how much voltage is in that battery. But we'll leave that for a while and come back. I expect we've got a very acidic solution there. I expect we got copper, and then the sulfate's probably creating sulfuric acid. That's certainly not turning copper coloured. I'll just check whether we've actually got any power in that battery. That's given me 1.9 volts compared to 9 volts. No, let's just disconnect it, measure it disconnected. I've got 7 volts. So there is something going into it. Well, I don't know if it's just my wishful thinking, but I've just looked at that. And those little dots that are on there might be copper. Might be. The other thing I want to try while we're doing this is aluminium. Yeah, I'll leave it alone for a while. Well, just as a test, this is a stainless steel straw. I've just put that in there, only for a matter of seconds, and we got copper forming on that straight away. So it looks like magnesium may be a fail. I guess while we're at it, we'll just have a little look at the aluminium. I'll just give it a little clean, because aluminium oxidizes worse than the magnesium. One of the tricks for soldering aluminium is to put it under oil, then clean it, keep it under oil, and then solder it so that the oxide can't form. That definitely is copper on there. I don't think we'll be. Can you see that at all? Yeah, there's definitely tiny particles of copper on there. Because what we want is a bit of a coating of it so we can actually solder onto it. So it may not be a total fail. Right, back again later. Right, I'm now using a 3S LiPo battery to do the power, and straight away there's copper forming on that aluminium rod. Definitely got copper on there. So that'll be interesting. We'll see if we can solder on that. So it looks like the higher voltage is pushing the copper out of solution quicker. Yep, definitely got a coating of copper on there. I'm going to leave it with just that much copper on it and see if that makes any difference to trying to solder it. So let's try the same voltage on this fella. Whoa, you see the bubbles? Well, I'm no chemist, but there's obviously something else going on there. Where the copper has settled on it, it's rubbing off as I'm rubbing it with my fingers. You can see it on the gloves there. I'll go and wash my hands or wash my gloves. Yeah, I think the copper is coming out of solution and forming nodules. Let's move the camera. Yeah, it's definitely not settling on the surface like it did on the aluminium. Well, I think I'm going to stop there because clearly the copper is coming out of solution, or whatever we want to say, and settling on the outside of the magnesium, but then it drops off again. As soon as I move that, you see the lumps of it falling off. So I don't think that has worked at all. I suppose I could just try cleaning that one more time. Right, clean. Oh gosh, look at that. Bubbled straight away. Right, let's have a look, see what's happened there. Yeah, I think that's, the copper is coming out of the copper sulfate solution, but it's just, well, I was going to say crystallizing, solidifying, and dropping off the magnesium. It's not staying on there. Right, I think that'll do. I'll have a go at soldering on there. I'll have a go at soldering on there, but I don't think we've got any copper on there to do anything. We'll have a go at soldering. I rubbed that and some of the copper came off, so we may or may not have success there, and I don't see any copper on the magnesium at all. It's turned blue. I don't see any copper left on there. It all came off. I gave it a shake and a rub. So it's not a fail because we've tried it. It's a fail because it didn't work, but we've tried it. How are we doing here? We've got some. Obviously, that'll wick away the heat straight away because it's a great thick piece of aluminium. Can't stay still long enough for me to try it. That copper is very hot on my finger. Right, and that's what normally happens. You think you've got it, but it just pops off where you thought you'd got it. I think the solder is taking to the copper, but the copper isn't properly bonded to the aluminium. I probably should have used aluminium strip rather than this lump of aluminium. So that's going to take too much heat compared to my little soldering iron. I'll get some ordinary wire instead of that thick stuff there. That's going to have far too much leverage. It's the first bit of wire that I had on the table. Give it a tug. Yeah, it all comes off. So that didn't work, but we've tried it. So we tried copper plating aluminium. And it didn't work. And then this, I don't expect anything to happen here. Do that. That might hold it still for me long enough to try and get some work on it. Nope. Shiny surface. Nah. No different. But I've tried it. So if somebody asks me, I can say, I tried it. Copper sulfate solution. It didn't plate the magnesium. It did plate the aluminium, but not well enough for me to actually get it to take solder. So that's something you might explore a bit more. It might work, but I doubt it. That does seem to have actually settled on it. Nah. Okay, well, that's my tea ready, beeping in the background. Pizza time tonight. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment so I know how I'm doing. And somewhere up here there'll be some links to related playlists. Thanks again.